What's going on, everybody? I want to do a video update for the weekly progress. Currently a little under 31, 33, and 35 weeks out for 2017. So excited about this first week into prep just because progress is going well. I started off at 193.5 pounds and I weighed in yesterday at 191.2, so 2.3 pounds down so far into prep. I weighed myself this morning just to see, and I don't know if I think it's an outlier just because I was 189.6. That's a pretty good drop overnight, and macros were hit on point yesterday. I actually did some meal prepping just because I was going to my parents' house and they like to cook a lot of food that I typically can't really account for, so I prefer just to bring my own. Just makes it a lot easier for me to account for things. But in my first video I told you what my macros were. It's still 225 gram carb, 300 gram protein, 100 grams of fat, and I roughly aim for about 35 to 45 grams of fiber. And I am drinking like over a gallon of water now, pretty close to about a gallon and a half, and that's actually upticked since contest prep, and my sodium levels are about 5 to 6 grams so far, and I think that I'm probably going to be gradually increasing that throughout the course of prep. My last prep I got up to about 2.5 gallons of water and about 9 to 10 grams of sodium. And you know, that's the thing, is that you can't just be afraid of sodium. You can't be afraid of taking in sodium just because it helps out with, it's one of the major electrolytes in your body that you need to function. And as body fat goes down, especially my heart rate was going really down, my blood pressure was extremely low. Literally I'd have to wait till about 11, 12 o'clock in the day, like midday, for my blood pressure to actually elevate to normal levels. But enough about that. I actually wanted to talk about this past week of training. Training's gone really well. Recovery's really good, on point. I started adding in intra workout type carbohydrates, something fast assimilating, just because complex carbs aren't really going to do very much for you during an intra workout. So I take Sour Patch Kids, about a half to a 3/4 serving. So roughly I'm getting about 60 grams of carb during, with my workout, and about 25 grams of protein. I probably need to uptick my protein in the morning, which would be really helpful because I don't really like having to eat 300 grams of protein. So it's a lot for me to eat, which is kind of funny for a contest prep. But I actually wanted to go over some supplements that I take. People ask, what do you take during a prep? What kind of supplements do you use? What kind of supplements do you recommend? And everybody's a little different, but you have to do your due diligence before you start taking supplements. If you're training and your nutrition are crap, then you better start taking the time to focus on those things, because those are most important when it comes down to improving your physique, is really understanding what you put in your mouth and what kind of output are you doing, and how consistent are you with these two factors, because supplements, that's what the name is, they supplement what you're already doing. So if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's only wasting your money and it's all for naught. So definitely do your due diligence and first go with the hierarchy of what's important most. The other thing is, before you buy something, go ahead and research it. There's so many shiny labels out there. That's the new best thing out there. Go on examine.com, because non-biased information basically breaks down that supplement and tells you what it is, what it's supposed to do, the dosing, if there's any research behind those claims, and how robust is that research, and does it really tell you, is it really going to help benefit you with what you're trying to seek after. And so do your due diligence and really focus on researching what you're doing and what you're taking. Everybody's a little different too, so everybody has different needs, but I will say that during a contest prep, there's some things that I am definitely going to keep in for the time being until it's subject to change, just because it depends on how my physique is improving and what my coaches recommend and tell me what to do. So One of the things that I definitely keep in is whey protein. This might slowly get out of my supplement routine, just because as I get hungrier in prep, I would prefer to eat food. So I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more cooking as I get closer to show, just because it allows me to eat, and I would prefer to eat something versus drink something. But when it comes down to protein powder, I get this one just because it has NSF. It's certified with their labeling. True Athlete, tastes like a Yoo-hoo chocolate flavor. But that's another thing, is when you look at supplements, you want to look for NSF certified, GMP certified, or USP verified. And there's very few companies that will pay to actually get these certifications done, because it does cost money. And they actually go out to their facilities and look at what they have, how their facilities look. They test their product against their labels, and they see if it's actually verified, or they verify that the information that's on the label is what it is. So this is a really good one. I get them at Vitamin Shop or Super Supplements. So definitely a good brand, but when you buy something that has high quality, and you have to expect that it's going to be a little bit more expensive. So the other thing that I'm going to keep is creatine monohydrate. No shiny labels here, just proven, so there's a lot of research backing creatine monohydrate, and I keep to the proper dosing under Eric Helm's recommendations in his muscle and strength pyramid guides, and for nutrition. And so under the supplement, he does mention creatine monohydrate, what the dosing looks like. But the main thing about creatine monohydrate is that you just want to saturate your muscles 100%. And so you can do that slowly, or you can do that really fast with loading phases. And I just don't do loading phases. So I just hold true to the proper dosing, which is 0.018 times your body weight. So the other things I do take just for joint health and inflammation is glucosamine. I also take turmeric. I don't have the one with black pepper, just because the only place that has it around here is Rite Aid, and you can get them online, of course. But so next time I'm going to Rite Aid and get some turmeric with black pepper, just because it helps out with the absorption of the turmeric. But this tends to really help out, especially as with volume, when it comes down to heavy loads, compound lifts. This has definitely helped. And the other thing that I take is a multivitamin. So Nature Made is one of the products, one of the supplements that actually has the USP verified label. So there's very few multivitamins or vitamins that actually hold this label, this certification, verification. So, but I take this just because as food is taken out of my during contest prep, this just helps out with covering my bases. And so I'm probably going to include some B vitamins and some vitamin C, just because those are water soluble. And when it comes down to water soluble vitamins, they flush out daily, so it's something to think about. So I'm probably going to start incorporating those the deeper and deeper I get into prep. So the other thing I do take is branched chain amino acids. I like Extend. This one is supposedly calorie free, but here's the thing, is that these are amino acids, so you track them as protein. And some people will debate that you don't need to, but I don't use this regularly. I use it just in case, as like as an extra. I probably am going to use this a little bit more regularly, just so that I can capitalize on the leucine aspect of it and make sure that I get proper dosing of that, especially during a contest prep, just because the benefits of leucine, it's the precursor of muscle protein synthesis. So very good, but you have to account for it. And that's totally fine too. That's going to help get my water in a little bit easier, but it's really easy to account for. There's a lot of variables when it comes down to supplements, when it comes down to prep. And if you're not telling your coaches what you're taking on a regular basis, they may make an adjustment based on what they only know. And you might be taking this and not really counting that, and that could be limiting and actually making you go over your protein needs for the day. So definitely that's something that you need to be thinking about too, is how you account for your supplements. So talk to your coaches about that. The other thing is BetaAlanine. BetaAlanine. The nice thing about this one is it does have that certification. It's GMP certified, I believe. And but I take 2 to 3 grams 2 to 3 times a day, and I know this is more for, you know, endurance type approaches like 8 to 15 reps, cardiovascular exercise, because it acts as a buffering agent to get your lactic acid out of the system a little bit quicker. But I've been using this even with powerlifting type approaches, and guess what? It still has some benefit for myself. This is actually really good though, because I still get the tingly sensation, and usually that goes away after a while. So definitely a good one to think about. But I also take N-Large as well. So thank you Moji Alua and Auntie Patty, because they gave me these when they came up here this past April. But these are really good. This is actually a weight gainer, and you're probably thinking like, why would you take a weight gainer during a contest prep? But I actually do this pre-workout. I take half a serving because the full serving is 600 calories. But the reason why I like it is because the carbs for even half a serving is 30 grams. And it's something that's quick assimilating and has, so it definitely helps when I go to work out at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I add some oatmeal to this and I blend it up and I'm good to go. So this is why I keep it in, but it might slowly come out. We'll see throughout the course of prep. But I like something that's quick and assimilating, especially if I'm working out early in the morning. So pre-workout, right now I'm doing this Optimum Nutrition, but soon I will be using black powder from MRI, just because I have a bunch of those. Thank you again for that, Moji and Patty, just because this is really good, has a lot of good things in there. So I only use 1 scoop, but I don't use this all the time just because it's not really necessary on my accessory days. But so it's just really accounting for what you have and what's going to work best for you. But those are the things I usually take. But like I said, it's subject to change just throughout the prep and how I'm feeling, how I'm progressing. So other than that, if there's any questions, by all means, let me know, and I'm more than willing to answer any of those. But like I said, number one is do your due diligence and research before you start buying supplements. These things aren't cheap, and so, but they only supplement with what you're already doing with nutrition and training. And if those things are on point, you need to revisit those. Other than that, thanks for checking in.